we know each other pretty well. And one thing I want to talk to you about is you mentioned one time that you did a New Year's resolution where you read 52 books in a year, basically one a week.
Yeah.
What did you find doing that? How did you find did you enjoy doing it? Was it hard to keep up? Talk me through it.
So I wanted to do it on the fact of I used to love reading growing up, and like the library was a huge, I guess, part of my entertainment, and I just completely like left it behind because of like the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's pretty lame, blah blah blah, but. So I decided to do it because I was like, I want to get back into it. I enjoy fiction. I enjoy non-fiction. And I think I started listening to an audiobook at work, at my previous work. And I just got so like involved, like and invested back into it. I was like, right, like, that's right. I actually love this. Like, so it can be like a bit of a chore sometimes. Like you'd probably know as well. You get about 25 pages into a book and you're just like, okay, no, like, this is a good one. So it was like I was kind of putting it on myself to like, hey, 52 books in a year, one a week. I'm quite a fast reader as well. So like two a week isn't like crazy.
Right.
So it was always like, if I enjoy a series, I kind of pump through that and then give myself the space to not have to read for 2 to 3 weeks or something like that. Just kind of process that book and kind of, get over it. But I didn't have like a specific list of 52 books that I wanted to read. It was kind of every week or every other week, I would just go and buy like a stack of 4 that kind of caught my eye.
Do you think that helped you keep to it? The fact that you could go in every few weeks, get something new, it made it feel fresh?
So for me, like personally, having a lot of books to read, I won't touch them. I won't. I know I won't. But and I'm not now opposed to just dropping a book. Like I used to force myself to read, which is what I think a massive negative part of putting a time limit or like how many books I'm going to read. It's a really, like, for me, it didn't work. Like that was the negative part of it. But yeah, I guess, I don't know.
Do you feel like you retained a lot of those books, or was it mainly fiction, get the gist of it, onto the next?
So a lot of the fiction books, I was kind of going for around 200-page books, but not popular books, if that makes sense. Just kind of give a random one a try. And I'll say the ones that stuck with me most were those types of books. But the ones that I could probably reread it now and have no idea what happens are those books as well. Like it was very hit or miss, but I tried not to stick with authors. I just tried to kind of branch out. Yeah. Because it kind of didn't make any sense to start a, 8-book series into a 6-book series. And it's like, well, I'm just reading 2 massive stories then. Like, I didn't go back to like Harry Potter or anything like that, but I did read the first 2 books in the Aragon. Do you remember those ones? Those dragon...
Oh, I mean, I'm thinking like Del Toro Quest or something.
Shout out Del Toro Quest. Shout out.
No.
Yeah. But so those are like, I used to be obsessed with those books, and then rereading it as an adult, I was like, oh, these, like, you know, oh, these were written by a teenager. Like, like these aren't. Oh, this is just Lord of the Rings. Like, it was very much, I could see the criticisms that I ignored before. I'm like, what do you mean it's Lord of the Rings? It's not. No, he changed the names of things.
Did you find you were able to extract different things out of it, but like even more out of it reading it later? Because I've heard Lex Friedman podcast are talking about he'll reread a series of books, like the books he found that he connected with the most, every 5 or 10 years. And every time he reads it, he's extracting different things out of it because he's obviously evolved as he's aged. Yeah. Did you notice any of that with them? Or it wasn't really those kind of books that really hit home as a kid? It was just books you remember reading as a kid?
I think it was a bit of both, where I probably grasped the like overarching themes of books through it, but like my negative brain is just going like, oh my God, and I enjoyed this shit. Like, so it was a bit from column A, a bit from column B. Like, yeah, I got like, and as nostalgia played a massive part, because then I wanted to keep reading it, but some of them were a tough read. It's a tough read.
So there was no system to the order you read it in. You weren't thinking like, I've got to mix it up, get a book I've read before, just re-appetite.
So I would say maybe 20 to 25 of the 52 were somewhere along the lines of self-help, like development books, just understanding, I guess, psyche. And I had to break those suckers up. Like, there's only and I would never recommend anyone read that much into self-help and stuff like that, because a lot of the books could be 30 pages if they really wanted to. A lot of it's just fucking dribble of just like, oh, here's a plan, let's write a plan, and it's just like I'm not fucking 12.
I didn't need this book for this.
Yeah.
Did anything connect or stand out from those? Anything you remember now still that, like, all right, I'm glad I did that. I took this away from those books.
Yes and no. I guess what everyone would associate with like a self-help book now is the old like orange book, like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, where reading that, I was like, oh yeah, like, oh, so I shouldn't just care what everything like. But it was I kind of got the good out of it, but even while reading it, got the bad as well. Of like, I guess in it, he's not saying don't actually not care, but some of it is like, it's like, no, I kind of want to care a little bit. Like, I do want to care. So I guess the main point of them would be more also like just doing what you would like and how you want to progress, and trying to shut off like the outside of like
the noise.
Yeah, the noise of it, of people maybe making fun of you, maybe not agreeing with what you're doing, stuff like that.
Trusting your instincts, like
it would be a lot of that, and like, you know, put 120% into yourself, like all that, yeah, all that kind of stuff.
They can be unbearable to read because there might be a really good point in amongst it, but then it's just some cliched snippet trying to get as many people to catch on to that phrase as possible, and it kind of takes away from whatever the actual good message of it is.
Which is the unfortunate thing of those books, because you're trying to reach as many people because you're trying to sell books. So it's like you kind of get every year or two where a new kind of fad in either psychology or self-help comes up, and then all of a sudden there's just a spawn of the exact same book with a different title, like different author. Like, hey, did you know it's actually not good to think about self-harming? Oh, really?
Yeah, and a fresh take from me on the same thing you've read 30 times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be tough because like a big aspect of it is that you're right, they're just trying to sell a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of it is the publishers saying, hey, you got to chuck this in there. Hey, good stuff, but let's, spice it up a little or make it a little bit more catchy.
Yeah.
And you kind of lose something with that.
I would love to see how many of those books get sent in at maybe 100 to 125 pages, and they're just like, you want us to try to sell this? Like, fucking, let's fatten that up. Like,
yeah, there are also the ones who they're too like technically dense, and they're like, oh, pull it back. You've put in too much information. But in a way, those ones, it's more authentic from the author if they're essentially, this is the one I'm thinking of is Peter Attia, who's like a doctor, wrote this book on health and longevity.
yeah.
It was like, I think his initial was about 600 pages. So it was dense. It'd be a lot for someone to read. But what to extract out of that, if you're trying to tell this overall story or paint this overall picture with all the research and all this, that's the authentic version of the book. But it's not going to be as digestible. So I understand a publisher being like, well, it's probably a little too much. But then how much do you lose from actually extracting out? Like, well, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. It's like, well, who's to say?
They would be saying, like, you're actually writing this for the general public. You're not writing it for other doctors. Like,
yeah, but I think in his case, he was just explaining everything in terms that like people can understand. Yeah. You can follow the logical pattern of what he's explaining, and you can understand what he's saying. Yeah. But maybe it takes that to get the general person who's not as well versed in these things to
it's maybe not a 10 pages a night kind of read. Like,
well, he's a bit of a like, I don't know what you call him, like a phenom. I don't know what you'd say, but when he was going through medical school, he would force himself to read like a minimum of 25 pages of dense textbook of whatever it is he was doing every single night, no matter what, for the 10-year period of medical school, because he wouldn't give himself an inch. So these are these hyper performer type.
The discipline to do that is insane.
He deserves to be a doctor, and a very wealthy one. Yeah. Yeah. I just wonder how much of that can be communicated even in like a self-help book. You can write it, you can read about it a lot. Mm-hmm. How much of that's actually transferable to the person digesting it?
Well, I guess, so for you, like Jordan Peterson, you would have read his books and you would have listened to a lot of his content. Do you find you've retained more from the book or books, or just hearing him kind of expand on his thoughts? Like,
I connected more with the audio. So his lectures, his talking on podcasts, but also just going through his YouTube and his lecture series. I connected more with the actual podcasts / online lecture forms.
The character of him as well.
Yeah, the way he would go on a 2-hour rant, but not even a rant, like a exploration of whatever the idea he was doing. Yeah. That very much, it was both captivating and I was able to take a lot from it. But a lot of it was just I was captivated and it was just drawn into it. There was something about it. So those connected definitely more with me than books. But part of that's because I was never a reader growing up. I came to that at about 25. I started reading properly. Like I didn't read proper books before then. So no, like not at all. And then I just went through like, why haven't I been doing this? Let's try to smash out a few. But even then, I'll listen to books easier and more than I would read them.
Yeah.
Partially, it's just more convenient in terms of you can do a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Having the time at the moment to just sit and read, I'm not willing to do that most of the time. But through the audio books or podcasts, I'm able to engage with them while doing other things, which I think is kind of learnt.
Yeah.
Because it took me years. I've listened to podcasts religiously for probably 12 years, 13 years, since they became a proper thing. And I think over time, you learn to retain the information that way.
Yeah.
Your brain kind of adjusts and adapts, like, oh, it can take in the information like this.
Yeah.
But if you grew up reading, that's probably a more engaging way to consume information.
Yeah. So with me, audiobooks for non-fiction, awful. I retain next to nothing.
Yeah.
But fiction, like, it's kind of the same as reading, but I definitely retain my information way better reading it rather than listening to it. And I just go absent-minded where I'll just miss, 5-10 minutes. And I'm, oh, okay, well, let's go back, skip back 30, like, and then I just have to re-listen to it. And I still do that with my podcasts, everything like that, where I just get in a thought pattern and just completely blank the last minute or so. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, I've missed something there.
It hurts to rewind. It's like,
No, it's like, come on, get into it.
Yeah, I struggle with fiction audiobooks. I go absent-minded so much with fiction audiobooks. I tried a fair few when I was driving all the time at nights. I would retain, like, I don't know, enough of the key elements, but I would lose track of where the hell I was most of the time. And I wasn't rewinding. I was like, okay, we'll just see if I can pick it up again and catch up. But with the non-fiction, whether or not it's just not as important, I guess, to retain every single word. As long as you get the key concepts or you actually hone in on a certain idea, you can probably retain enough where you don't notice the absent-mindedness of or the effect of that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's part of it too. Because for me, fiction, I can't follow, especially while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the driving element. Like I'm so hyper
Right.
hyper alert on that. But I can retain non-fiction while driving. So it's strange. It's interesting.
It's also a real tough listening to fiction audiobooks where it's people doing voices as well. Like, I find that it takes me so out of it if it's like a guy kind of giving his very best gruff, like, kind of thing. And then he has to play the woman character straight after. And it like, all I'm visualizing is a guy in the booth, like, doing the voice, pausing, laughing, like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I used to think it might be cool to be an someone who records for audiobooks, but then I heard him do like all these voices. I'm like, oh my god, non-fiction only.
I remember one of the books I listened to had a dragon character in it, and the voice he used for it took me so out of the book where I stopped listening to it. It was so ridiculous. It was like, and this wasn't like a children's or young adult. It was like a proper adult fiction book. I was like, how did the author green light that? It was so bad.
Oh god, I wonder how the authors feel, because I reckon they don't have much of a say. If they don't have like pull themselves, they are just like, no, we're putting this guy on the voice. Oh, this is how it sounds. Oh, wow.
Whatever it takes to get that book out there.
Oh
boy.
Yeah, that's funny. That is the funny thing about fiction audiobooks. Yeah. The voices. Sometimes they barely change it, and I think I prefer that.
Yeah.
They just put a slight adjustment on their voice to indicate another person's talking.
Yeah.
And even if it's like a girl, I'm happy. Yeah, cool.
It's fine. I know Jennifer is a girl.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
bro.
need a guy with like the lowest bass in his voice to try and replicate that. I don't need it.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah. But audiobooks are good. I'm glad they're out there because I've consumed a bunch of them because of it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. like Audible alone got me through 2 years of working by myself. Like it was awesome. And then using Audible as a vessel to consume my physical books quicker was like a godsend.
Did you? So you've used the listen to it while you're reading it approach. How much do you find that helps? Is it distracting? Hard to get used to?
It took me the first time I did it. Yeah, I kept kind of either skipping ahead too much reading, or the audiobook was too far ahead. So it just took a little while to find my speed, like my reading speed. It's still not really perfect, but it's a lot more like I can kind of, I don't need to kind of skip ahead or anything like that. As far as like retaining it, I don't think I've tried with nonfiction or anything like that, but with fiction, I find it helps like generate the story in my head and where I can see it. So I do find it really helps with that. So I guess if you're ever wanting to try it, I would recommend doing it with fiction, because I don't know how helpful it would be like nonfiction, self-help, that kind of area.
Well, I know there is research in just how the brain retains information. I can't remember exactly who did the research or where I heard this, but there is something about listening to, visually seeing it at the same time, which creates deeper connections in your brain, which helps retain it better. So there is actually some kind of basis to doing that in the pursuit of retaining information. I kind of tried this while I was at uni. I would record myself reading out the lecture slides or extracts from the textbook.
Yeah.
And when I was listening to it and reading it at the same time, I would do that a few times. I did find that when it came to the exams, which is like the only way I can remember it, actually figuring out if it actually worked, because like no one's just coming up to me asking me a random question on it, so I don't know how well it actually worked. Until those moments, I found it so much easier. Like the recall was much better.
Right.
So that's the only kind of anecdotal evidence I got. But apparently it's a phenomenon. Yeah, it actually works and helps retaining. Well, it's just because the way the brain works, if you engage more of it at the same time, you're just forming more associations between different parts, which creates stronger connections, I guess.
Well, yesterday, Andy, who we work with, notoriously gets lyrics wrong in songs. And he butchered one where it was like, I know you've heard this song over 100 times. Like, I know you have. And so I had to look it up. I'm like, there has to be something where his brain won't process that. And it's some people just attach no meaning to either melody and things like that with memory. Whereas like for me, I feel like I can remember every lyric of every song I've ever listened to. And so if I need to remember something important, I kind of put it into a tune or something like that, where I can associate the tune with the memory. And I was like, I could not believe that it's not a real, not like a condition or anything like that, but like in his brain, he just attaches nothing to the music.
It's just a sound.
It's just a sound. Yeah. And that to me is like mind blowing, because like, I guess tone deaf is different. Like you just kind of have no idea what music is.
Yeah, I've been accused of that one. That's when it comes to my dancing, especially.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me. Yeah. And then like I feel like it's a huge part of how I retain information. Maybe not on purpose. Like I don't want to remember songs from ages ago. I'd rather remember way more important things. But I guess that's how my brain works.
That is funny. I had that thought the other day, literally on that point. I'm like, I know the lyrics to so many songs.
Yeah.
how much bandwidth is that taking in my brain that I could, fill that with something more useful?
It's insane. Like, I think on Spotify at the moment, I think I have about 1,000, maybe 1,100 songs saved. I would be so confident in hitting shuffle and like identifying the song and the opening lyric on, I would say I reckon I would maybe 20 I would get wrong. Like maybe 20.
I think I'm the same.
I would just back myself so much where I'm like, a lot of them, I'm like, oh, I know the song. Like that's, and in my brain, what a useless use of my brain. Like that's not like helpful at all in any day-to-day scenario. I could have remembered so many other better things, but hey, I'll tell you the full lyrics of a song from a band that gets like 500 listeners, but oh yeah.
It makes the most sense in the world though, because I mean, how many times have you listened to the song? Hundreds, maybe even thousands. It's just like, oh, so it's just repetition.
Yeah.
It's just repetition of the same thing over and over again.
It's gun to my head. Like 7 times 8. Like, I don't know, man.
No, play the beginning of that song instead.
Please.
Yeah, it's funny. We are drawn to music as people. It is something they reckon that we evolved to sing or like hum tone before we could even speak.
Really?
Yeah,
I suppose that kind of makes sense. Like a grunt, like if we're talking like caveman and like what we think and all that, like especially in media, or like
well, that's what hand signals. Like we can pick up like a hand signal that means something, that we can infer the meaning of a hand signal, even if we're not really that common with using it very often, because that's what we used before we could speak.
I suppose as well, like if you have language barriers and stuff like that, you immediately start talking with your hand, and like everyone knows that that's good. Like that's good. Like, oh no, like. Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, it's weird how we obviously evolved with these capacities because we weren't speaking back then, right? And then when people moved out, developed different languages, there was still need to communicate at sometimes. Like, so you don't kill me. Like, good, we good?
Yeah, man, all good over here. Must have been insane. There had to have been a crossover of civilizations or tribes who were speaking a fluent language to each other, and then tribes who hadn't started speaking, and the inferiority you must have felt being a part of that other tribe. Like, what?
Yeah, when they're communicating so much better, they're able to organize. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, and they're the ones who made it through apparently, because we're all speaking pretty well now. So
yeah, well, I gather they didn't stop to talk about it.
Yeah, perhaps they were less friendly than we would be as someone who's not speaking quite the same as us.
Yeah, I suppose they probably weren't worried about the talking, more about the, the killing, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit of a different standard, a little bit different values. Yeah, evolution is funny. Have you come across the company trying to bring back extinct species?
Yeah.
So
I'm all for it. I love it so much.
What are they? Colossal, I think. Well, whatever. I think they're called Colossal, but they're brought back. Well, whether it's an exact direwolf, but it's 99.9% white wolf, but it's got the direwolf genome. It's a direwolf. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So, what do you reckon? You keen? You happy to have them back?
Yeah, but it's again like. It's awesome. It is awesome. And it's going to be huge for especially endangered species that are still alive now. Like, I feel like that's where the investment of it should go. Because, like, realistically, do we need, like, a saber-toothed tiger? Like, probably not. Like, do we need one of those great apes? Like, the massive sloths and all that? Like, do we need them? Nah, probably not.
Yeah, what are they? I think it's... So, the direwolf was first. They're trying to bring back a version of the woolly mammoth. Apparently, there's like 8 or 9 species. This one's like the size Well, it's smaller than one of the elephants. I can't remember this. The African Indian elephant. It's in between the two,
Yeah.
but it's really woolly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dodo bird.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Like
In
anything that
Tasmanian
can't
tiger.
kill me, bring him back in.
Tasmanian tiger's the other one, which they're actually working with one of the Tasmanian universities, probably University of Tasmania. Who knows?
Yeah. It's a
Or
big
like their
guess.
their government. They're like helping fund trying to figure it out.
Because-
It's interesting.
Like, wasn't it for ages they weren't ready to call them extinct?
Well,
Because
yeah.
they hadn't, like, Tasmania is quite like a dense bushland for majority of it. Like, they were just like, there's no real way we can prove it is extinct or alive. Like, because I remember reading something where they had found droppings and stuff like that. But then they're like, you're sending your poo expert like a couple of nugs. Like,
What's his name? There is a guy. This might be wrong, but I think Forrest Galante or whatever. I think that's the name. If not, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, suggests that they're still out there somewhere, and there's compelling evidence. But it's one of those where there's evidence, but there's no recordings, there's no footage, there's no photos. It's just these things may indicate, and it's interesting. So I wonder what's the benefit of bringing them back. You reckon they'll help keep in check some of the species we brought in, the invasive species? That's probably it, right?
I would assume so, but then you've got this species that's kind of been on the bench for like what 80 years, like 80, 90 years, and they're just like, all right, sub me back in, coach. Like, it's like, come on, clean it all up, like get it all done.
That's funny because you'd think, well, would they have the immunity to certain viruses and things that are around?
Yeah, true.
But I think these guys are so smart. They're able to edit genes in a way where and they did this with the direwolf. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they altered it slightly so they didn't suffer from some disorder that would cause all of them to die in some kind of way. So they have already like slightly adjusted the direwolf. It's got its characteristics. It's mostly a white wolf, but it's got a little bit of this, and it's not going to get sick from this thing back in the day. So it's like, ooh, what are we doing?
Yeah, like it's. I guess it's one of those things of like, hey, this is really cool. I really like this, but don't use it for this. Like, let's not start editing anything else. Like,
Which they definitely, whether they are or someone else with their technology, there are countries that are probably much more keen and already trying it. It's interesting. Do you think ethically it's okay to start editing like people? Or like, people who are about to be born?
it's kind of hard because you can, if you say yes, you have to allow all of it. So like editing out like, degenerative diseases, conditions, things like that, fantastic. However, you're then allowing that to be out there where people with maybe ill intentions can
Designer babies just choose exactly the
like,
characteristics.
like superhumans, like
6'4", 200 IQ,
Yeah.
no genetic disease proclivity. Yeah,
it's gonna put up more points than LeBron.
Give a better lecture than I don't know, Stephen Fry or something. Yeah, it's interesting because part of it's like, well, what do we want to mess with that at all?
Yeah.
Is the idea that we shouldn't, is that just rooted in like religious tradition where you don't mess with the purity of the human being? Is that where that comes, or is it more just who are we to choose who is? I get
My brain went straight to Jurassic Park. Like it's great that you did, but should you have? Like,
yeah, I'm sure that's on the agenda. Bring the dinosaurs back. Yeah. Put them in a park.
It would be hilarious to get a 100% accurate dinosaur and how wrong we are of our perception of a dinosaur. Like we see them as these like skin tight, muscly, angry looking freaks of like just raw power and all this stuff. But like majority of evidence suggests that a lot of them, if not half, were covered in feathers, like
Colourful feathers. They're like birds.
yeah. Well, I can't remember what I was watching, but it was something along the lines of like, so with a dog and a dog's skeleton, if you looked at the dog, you would think, oh, this thing is like an insane kind of carnivorous thing. But it's like a bulldog. So you can't see jowls, you can't see fat, you can't see the skin or the fur from that, where it's like maybe a T-Rex just had so much fat all over it that's why it's like everything's going forward like that. Like maybe it's just this ugly fucking thing that like died out because it couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it actually didn't exist for that long.
Yeah.
It was just chill. Yeah. Was it you who was telling me that, like the way it's depicted in cinema, it couldn't physically have existed because like the head would just fall to the ground? Or is this something that I hear?
No,
that?
so that was Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
like any there's like a certain weight and height things can be. Yeah. So when people kind of glorify how big things used to be, it's like in the water, absolutely. Because there's not as much, I think it's pressure, or their body can adapt to the pressure down there. There's no pull.
It's not
getting them down.
Yeah, the water's resistant.
Yeah. So that's why you have blue whales, like all these massive, so like a megalodon existing back then is feasibly possible. Whereas something as big as like Godzilla just like physically could not exist. The amount of weight and pressure would like make him mush.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, do you reckon? No. Like, actually, no.
Yeah, probably not. T-Rex is about the limit of what it can get.
Yeah.
Were they the biggest? No, there's bigger ones, aren't there? Or heavier.
But
Some of
even
those
then,
have-
it's like, think of like a, I don't know, like a brachiosaur where it's like a massive long neck. All the weight's down there. There's no real weight up here. So they can exist at that insane kind of height.
Yeah.
Because all the weight's down.
That makes sense, yeah. It's closer, it's more stable. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know about bringing back dinosaurs. Maybe we'll leave them shelved, but keep going with the...
I feel like we're doing a great job without them. Like me personally. I feel like...
Where are we thinking of bringing them back? Where are we going to put them?
Yeah.
Couple
I
of islands,
reckon we explore the ocean first, see how insane that is, and then we can reassess. We can see if we need a Leopolodon to kind of sort things out. Like,
are you buying that we know less about the ocean than we do space? Or you think that's just one of those quopes or whatever it is?
I think there is, yes, as in we have, 5%. We've only searched 5%. Like, there's a whole lot of nothing down there. Like, there's no real point going across a ocean floor where it's the same thing for thousands and thousands of kilometers of just like, right now, it's probably just such a waste of time, effort, money, where it's like, we're probably going to find, 100 new species of things. Doesn't mean anything because we don't interact with those species at all. Where, I don't know. I don't like the thought of like, oh, what if there's like something big down there? It's like, okay. Like, I'm not going there. I don't care.
No one's ever been attacked by it the whole time we've been here.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Well, it's like, so the Kraken is like folklore of like, but there's evidence of giant squids. So it's like, oh, this is drunken sailors saying like this giant thing. It's like, yeah, they probably did get attacked by like sure. Like, that is true.
Yeah, huge squid.
Doesn't mean it's this thing that eats ships.
It makes a better story, doesn't it?
Well, especially if you've just lost like all the king's gold as you're shipping in. You wouldn't believe it. I know this sounds crazy.
Dragons are real.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready to say it. There is a part of me that wants dragons to be real.
What form do you reckon? Do you reckon they're like lizards evolved from birds?
I'm going to say it's some sort of just giant lizard. They're not fire breathing. Like, there's...
Like Komodo dragon on the floor. Huge.
Yeah.
Maybe had wings, maybe didn't have wings.
It just seems so weird how often dragons come up in so many societies' folklore. Like, again, it's not really an original type of thing, like beast wings scary. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in the thousands of years that humans have been telling stories, feel like it's pretty easy to come across a dragon. But I mean, we have evidence of dinosaurs, and we have evidence of giant lizards, and like even crocodiles themselves are like something that's crossed over from all of that. So it's like, I don't think it's insane to say that they could. I'm not saying they have, but
it's the fire breathing that makes it.
Yeah,
that's
the
a
fire,
huge
like,
logical
yeah,
leap.
like let's be real for a bit. Those suckers were never dying out if they could breathe fire.
Yeah, that's pretty like
what,
they just got so
other
big.
animal could possibly go up against that?
They just got so big. They just had so many heart issues. And they just kept dying. Yeah, it's got to be something so stupid.
Yeah, it's like War of the Worlds. It was actually the flu that got them.
But that's probably it, eh? How many species have died out just because, like, hey, look, nature put this virus in there. You're getting a bit out of hand. Yeah. Let's chuck this shit out there. Not until, like, us humans could we actually solve that issue, huh? Or at least help it.
I mean, there's people who go along the line of thinking that we, like humans, are the virus to do it.
In terms of, like, we get rid of the species.
We get rid of things.
Here.
Like, we're the...
cleanup crew.
We're the cataclysmic event for this era of, like, just naturally we will, like, completely fuck ourselves. It's just in our nature.
It's probably in the human drive to... We want to acquire more. We keep going for more and more and expanding and constant growth. So I guess logically at the end, you need to eventually take all of everything, use it for us, but maybe there's nothing left at the end.
It is kind of weird that, like, naturally our drive is to consume and want, but we also have, like, ethics, morals, things like that, like empathy. Like, it feels such a contrast of, like, everyone in their day-to-day life, they want more. Like, whether they agree with why they want it, but then also having to battle with your own empathy and your own ethics. It's such a just, like, naturally, what a weird phenomenon for, I feel, humans exclusively have.
Yeah, we have a desire for more, but we also have an incredible capacity to suffer with very little.
Yeah.
So it's like...
it's so strange.
I guess that makes sense in terms of, okay, you can survive with nothing, but only because you have this drive to acquire more. Yeah. So, like, you can't survive with nothing forever. Yeah. Let's put this drive in you to actually motivate you to get more. And it's through that you get it.
But it's like, you need to be at the bottom of that scale for that drive to actually kick in with the intent of changing it. Whereas, like, if you're kind of just in the middle where it's like, yeah, dude, like, you know, job sucks, you know, well, pays the bills. Yeah. So what? Things like that where you're, like, comfortable, but you're not as happy as you're like, oh yeah, I want more, but nah,
I'm
it's
pretty
fine.
comfortable. pretty happy.
Yeah, that means I'd have to sacrifice, and I can't really be bothered. Like,
There is a psychological phenomenon. I can't remember what it's called or who coined the term, but it's literally that point. Like
Yeah.
people will suffer through the comfort of like just enough forever. There's it takes a lot of people to go below the oh now we're actually fucked to come back all the way and actually do the thing they know they want to do or need to do to get more. So you need to get to the point of like utter catastrophe to actually motivate you to strive forward. I can't remember the phenomenon what it's called.
do you reckon that's why in storytelling, like, or just in general, like we love an underdog, like came from nothing, like, or hit rock bottom and just bounce back even more
I think that's exactly
because we all want to be that.
Yeah,
but we're not going to.
We know. Well, God, it looks hard.
Yeah,
well, he got
like,
there, but geez,
man, it was
see what he-
pretty sad there. I don't like being sad.
I think that has to be the case, though, right? That has to be why we're drawn to that story because they're kind of living the life we want to, but maybe we're too scared, or we're just not willing to put ourselves out there.
Yeah, I think as maybe in modern days as well with social media and stuff like that, I feel like the fear of failure is, or being made fun of for trying, is at the highest it would have ever been in human history, where it's like you can't do it kind of privately. You have to put yourself out there, and at the cost of, maybe this is an Australian thing of like tall poppy syndrome, where for some reason if you try something, everyone's immediate reaction is like, fuck, get a load of this guy. Like, what, you think you're better than us? Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to be careful who you actually listen to with that because it's a lot of that is people's unrealized ambitions coming out in the most
manifest into it. Like, we
most
try and
heinous
keep
way.
you on their level. Yeah.
It's not always conscious too, but I think some people just don't like to see other people doing more because they, for whatever reason, chose not to, feel like life prevented them to. And like, it's easy to put someone down who's trying something different. Like, it's easy to
It's
just
so
like,
easy.
be part of the crowd. Like, oh, look at this fucking guy.
Yeah. It's always like, it's definitely like intent of how they're doing it. Like, if it's something actually stupid where it's like, hey man, like financially right now, do you think that's the smartest decision to make? But then you're also like, okay, like, do it. Maybe you need to suck at this or fail at this, and then you'll find what you want to do through that. But yeah, it's hard. Like, I struggle with it where I'm like if someone's gonna try something new, or so I'll give you an example. One of my best friends was working in the sewers, like in the sewer industry through there, making unreal money. And he was just like, nah, like at 26 or something, was like, nah, like I don't want to keep doing this. I want to be a apprentice Sparky. And I was going like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Because I promise, like,
Yeah, it's not the same money.
I wouldn't associate being a Sparky and him like ever in my life prior to that. But he was just so like, yeah, no, I want to do that. I want to go work out in the mines, like all that stuff. Again, I was like, that isn't you. Like in my head, I'm like, no, that's not who you are. But he's about to be a qualified Sparky, like, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Yeah. But it was like in my head of like, okay, don't shit on his drive, but like, I don't know, it felt like I had to kind of go, hey, do you really want to Like, you have it very well right now. Do you want to suffer for this amount, like being an adult apprentice? And he sacrificed, like he did it, and now he's right at the end of it, and it's just like, yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
Like, fuck me, right? Like,
I'll show Ethan.
yeah.
No, there's value to having people in your life who are going to tell you what they actually think. But, and that's actually, I think that's actually useful because not just that, okay, I got people who are going to tell me the truth. It's amazing to have that. But it's also going to vet yourself in seeing, do I really want to do this? Or is this just a fleeting thought? Yeah. And if I'm going to cave into them telling me it's not a good idea, probably means they got a point or I'm not ready to do this. Yeah. So like you've got to have the assurance within yourself to keep going down the path that you had the instinct to do. Like if there was a good enough reason why you think you're doing it, you can block out the noise, even from people who care. And they might have good points, but it's not quite right for what you want to do.
I'm so glad he ignored me. Like, I didn't even think he, like, ignored me. He was just like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, I want to do this.
It's not the money, it's the thing.
He's notoriously like, every other week, oh, no, I'm going to do this now. Like, oh, no, do you know how much money these guys get? He's like, yeah. Anyway, like, so when he first was like, yeah, no, I'm doing this, I'm pretty sure he quit, and then 6 months he didn't work just because he was only going to be an adult.
So you had to wait 6 months.
Yeah, he couldn't get anything first go kind of thing, and then he finally got it, and then just like snapped their hand off for it, and then just was learning. Like that's all he did.
That was his calling.
Yeah,
he had that. What is it? Robert Greene in his book Mastery called it something. What was it? Life's task. Yeah. Like if you search back, even when you're a kid, if you look hard enough, you can probably find the direction. And even if you don't do that, there are some things that just call to you and doesn't matter what's in your way. Like if you have the drive to do it, like your friend seemed to. Yeah. That's great because a lot of people won't do that. No. Especially if he's making really good money doing a job.
And like very good money where it was like, hey. Like people would fucking die to be in your position right now.
Yeah, is money everything? Hey, yeah, clearly it's not.
Well, I mean, he was like. I also understand he was working in the sewers and being,
pretty shitty job,
like
literally.
That, like just being up to your fucking neck and shit for a living. It's pretty hard to start a family or like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I swim and shit all day. Like,
a bit easier to climb into roofs.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Not fun.
Everything I've heard with all the electricians I know. But
exactly.
A lot better than swimming through shit. That's for damn sure. Yeah. No, but actually having the courage to come out of that comfortable spot, and comfortable financially, obviously the job sucked, but being able to do that, it's tough.
Have you struggled like with that in your kind of experience with either uni, work, things like that?
Oh, certainly. Like when I first finished school and went to uni for the period I did, the 6-7 years it was, just jumping around. Yeah. The reason I didn't stop or really focus in it and try harder, it's because it was so easy to just keep doing what I was doing. Just being like a young man living at home, no responsibility, parents not even asking rent or anything of you. What is it? Well, how would you say it? I sat in that for way longer than looking back now I should have, because it was so easy. It was so comfortable. There was no pressure to do more, because I was convincing the people around me enough. They're like, no, I'm still working towards something. Yeah. So like, it's not on anyone else but me. I was very happy to keep that. Oh, no, I don't even know what you call it. Keep that going.
Just like the mundane of it, of just like, I'm getting close to the uni like finish line. Actually, I don't think I want to do this course anymore.
halfway
I'm actually
through
now really interested in something else.
I consciously that wasn't my intent, but I think there's got to be something like that in there. It's like
Prolonging it.
subconsciously, it's just this is so easy.
Change is right there. Nah, I'm not ready for the change.
Things will sort themselves out. Everything will be fine. I think you can get lost in that. If you do that for long enough, there's like nothing worse for you in the long term. I think if I had kept going another few years like that, I don't even know what I think I would just be such a loser.
Oh.
It's very hard though. It's very hard.
So weird.
I did not see any of it. Part of it I credit the podcast I listened to or whatnot. It just made me understand what you're doing. There's no meaning to anything. You're just existing, man. Why don't you get your ass in line a little bit? Go for something. Just get some direction.
Like have something to work towards.
Yeah, dude. My life was football and FIFA. So
Yeah.
that was it. Like it was so.
I was there too.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into that, eh?
I didn't even have like football. Like I had social futsal once a week, and that's it. I was just on the game all the time.
You at least got pretty good at the game. Like I was all right, but you were like actually pursuing. You were going for it at least. I wasn't.
I was trying to, like, looking back now, I was trying to justify being a loser. Like that's what I was trying to do, because I would have, I don't know, maybe a year or so before I quit, like I knew I wasn't going to be the top tier. There's no way. And it was like, and then I got good at the next one that came out, and I was like, okay, we'll do this one. Like, and I think it took me getting so close to finally, like, I needed to fail at my goal for me to realize what a fucking waste of time it was. Like, I should have capitalized on other things in that period. Like, I should have put myself out there more. But in my head, I was like, no, I'm the best at this, so I'm just going to do this. But wasn't leaving myself any opportunity to make money out of this thing that I'm dedicating, 12, 16 hours sometimes a day, and like socializing on the weekends, trying to maintain some sort of a relationship with my family, with my, like, just a relationship. And it was just like, even after, that's where I wish I just had stopped. But I kept going after, because it was like, oh, I know how to do this, so I guess I'll do this. I guess it'll work as well. And it was just like working to pay bills, and then just game for the rest of it. Socialize when I wanted. Yeah, it was so tough, because I got so much what I thought was like fun and joy, because I'm laughing at the top of my lungs, like things like that, but I'm not doing anything. Like, I think I wasted, like, genuinely 3 years of my life, of my early 20s, like late teens, and I couldn't remember anything about those games. Like, I have maybe one memory per year of those games. Like, I feel like that's not a normal thing. Like, I feel like I should have had amazing times during that period, but I was in my room. Like, it's so weird.
I remember the exact same thing. I remember it's like almost like a blur, that whole period. Very little experiential memories from it, because so much of it was just like sitting in your room alone. Even if you're talking with people online, it doesn't feel the same as actually talking with people in real life.
No.
But you do have to sometimes, and this is the example I was talking about before, you have to go through that to realize how shit it is.
Yeah,
Some people
literally.
don't need that message, and geez, good on them. That's good. It's
Yeah.
fortunate, or they had the right people in their ear who they actually listened to.
Yeah.
Because I am stubborn as hell. Like
Yeah.
I was not going to listen to anyone telling me, "What are you doing?" Oh, I'm uni working.
Yeah,
Shut
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Leave me
You
alone.
don't know me.
I'm an
Yeah.
adult. Yeah,
I'm grinding.
but you do have to go through it sometimes.
Do you wish your parents... So my example would be the amount of times I got threatened with like, I'm gonna fucking smash that Xbox, like I'm gonna fucking, like the internet's going off, and it never did, and things like that. Like at the time I knew I would have chucked an absolute hissy fit over that, like, what are you doing? I'm not hurting anyone, like anything like that. But man, I wish I had have ripped that fucking thing in half.
It might have helped, but I'm glad they didn't because they knew I was an adult.
Yeah.
Like they knew I had to figure that out myself. I didn't want to be parented like that. Like I would have resisted in other ways, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think I appreciate they gave me at least the respect of an adult. Like, hey man, if he's gonna keep doing that shit, wasting his time, he'll figure out soon enough that is dumb, and he'll get there. And I think I put on enough of a front where they're so busy doing their own things. Like they weren't worried about me in any way. And I was good enough at not letting it be known.
I suppose you also had
felt
like
nothing. I felt
uni
neutral.
as well, being there where they're like, once he's finished his uni, he'll get over it and all that.
That's it. That was my cover. And like when I was doing journalism, I had the part-time job working for Olympic doing some stuff like, he's
Yeah.
pursuing it a little
Yeah.
bit. It's like I kind of was. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
There was some direction there. But I knew pretty quick doing the media work for Olympic that I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
this sucks.
The only thing in journalism I could have actually entertained doing was maybe a commentator.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds fun. But then I also realized doing that, like, oh, wait a minute. I don't love football.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not in love with football.
Yeah, I thought I thought that was everything for me.
Yeah.
But then again, through that experience, I'm like, I actually probably wouldn't enjoy just doing this. It's like everything, learning about the teams and this, and then what it takes to be a commentator. I was like,
whoa.
yeah, and let alone getting to the point where you have an opportunity to be one. Like the progress, it's so hard. There's so few, and something I knew I was like, ooh, this isn't just. It's hard to get there. I don't love it. It's like no, I realize I couldn't sit and watch football all day. I don't love it like I did as a kid.
Yeah, you're not watching just two teams you don't care about. The result means nothing, things like that. And you're trying to get people to be interested in the game. And it's like, oh, but I'm not interested in it.
Yeah. Realizing I didn't love it anymore. Well, I don't even know if I ever loved it. This is the thing.
Really?
It's something I think I was really good at.
Yeah.
I liked a lot. Maybe as a kid, I'm sure. As a kid, I loved it. But there was a point as a teenager where I can tell I wasn't love anymore. It's just I was good enough at it. It was fun.
And you knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Your friends were doing it. And it's like, I guess I'll do that.
In knowing everything about football, watching it, there's something to just being in the know. But no, like the love for that just went.
Do you think it's like, as a kid, like, people in sport are like superheroes? Like for me, like with rugby league, it was always like, I can't believe you're real. Like, and then at some point it just kind of clicks and you're just like, oh, you're just a bloke. Like you're just a guy who weighs a lot and can run in a line. Like,
You know, I don't know if I've thought about it in those terms, but I think that probably directly correlates with when I fell out of love with it.
Yeah.
It's like the magic of it had gone, and that's just a person. Really good at the thing and admirable for getting there, but it's just a person.
I know my like falling out of love with rugby was when I realized I was never going to make it. Like in my head, I remember I was like, I'm playing in the NRL. Like it's just a matter of when. And then it was like going districts, going Med East, and then just at that level, I was so out of my depth, and everyone had grown up around me, and I still wasn't big enough to compete. And it was like, oh, like, and these guys aren't gonna make it.
Yeah,
like how the fuck was I ever gonna make it? And then now, like, I've met a few NRL players and things like that, and they are just like so impressive as athletes, and I'm just like, I never had a chance. Like sure, I had the fundamentals. That's fantastic. Go enjoy some fucking park rugby league. Like,
touch footy on the weekend.
Yeah, like you enjoy that.
Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Actually, that moment of realization. I think I had the same one at about 16. First time I played for a properly good team. Like every year up until that, I was one of the better players, like scoring lots of goals.
Yeah.
And then at this point, I'm like, oh, these guys are so much better than me. And it's like, oh, I'm the worst of the team now. Oh, cool. I'll learn a lot. Like, I wanted to be there because I'm like, well, it's the only way to get better is to play with the people who are better than you. But I realized, I don't love this anymore. And then every year it kept going and going. I'm like, I'm not going to play competitive anymore because I just don't think I've got it. Oh, well.
And it's also at that stage, you're getting testosterone and like ego as well, where it's like, I'm better than this. Like, I'm better. I know I'm better. Why am I not as good?
Yeah, I don't know. I missed the boat on that one because I think I was very like calm through. I felt like very little.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, wait, I put my whole identity in football.
Yeah.
Now it's not that. Oh, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it was like, all right, what's next?
I had paralysis of, I'll figure it out. Oh. But again, that speaks to all of it. It's like, it'll work itself out. But that paralyzed me for a long time. It was the lack of urgency. That's what it is.
Yeah.
There was no urgency in me.
Yeah.
And that really, I think that's what stopped me doing anything, is I just had no urgency. Yeah. And so it wasn't
just
natural.
Stunts you.
It isn't natural to me. I have to
like you have to kind of put yourself under pressure to give yourself the drive.
Yeah, well, for some reason, the past few years too, I've found obsession with more things than just what I want. So being obsessed about something, I'm just fully into it. There's the urgency. I'm obsessed by the thing, or I respond urgently to the thing I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the drive for me. That's why I've jumped from different interests here and there. Yeah. But part of that is I suppressed all that for 10 years just with football and Xbox and other things that are just useless.
Like, oh, wait, outside exists.
There's more interesting shit to do that maybe is more productive and more fulfilling. Oh, okay.
Who would have thought?
Football's not everything. Oh, and it's fine to like enjoy watching and be a fan of it. But for me, I don't think it just all had to go. Yeah. It just all went. Like once it stopped, I'm like, I just don't care anymore.
I think as I've got older, my love for rugby league and being invested as a fan has come back. Because I didn't watch for maybe, I'm going to say like 3-4 years, probably in that era of playing Xbox. I was like, I don't give a crap. Like, I don't care. But now it's like, I don't attach how I feel to the teams I support because I don't support great teams. Like, so for me, it's more just like, I just enjoy watching it now. Like, I don't need my team to win because they don't win. Like, when they do, hey, what a treat. But like, I don't know. It's kind of like something that happens every week where, hey, I can invest some time into that, but I don't need it.
You don't feel the connection? Because they have done research on this where, like, if you're an actual dedicated fan of a team and they lose, it mimics the feeling of you losing at some kind of competitive endeavor. Same if they win. This is why like dedicated fans, when they're crying, that's real emotion. They're actually upset.
It's like
'Cause their team's
they're
lost.
part of the engine.
They've
like
lost.
Yeah.
It is, we lost. That's how it feels to them, whether or not it's
Well, I guess maybe I'm not a real fan.
not a real fan, but like dedicated
Yeah.
in terms of where it's a connection.
I think I'm maybe too self-aware in that, where I'm like, I'm not the team. Like I don't make any decisions about this team. So if my team wins, hell yeah. But if they don't, well, especially with the Tigers, like they don't win. So it's like, so say we lost, there you go. So they lost 64-0
You're a fan.
the other week. Yeah, they lost 64-0 the other week. And I was like, oh, all right. Like, damn.
Do you think that for you corresponded with you realizing they were just blokes?
Yeah, I think so. Where it's like I would walk past some of them every day. Like they're just people. Like, and they're in this amazing position where they get to entertain. But I'll use an example of like, I really like going and watching like Metro football, like Metro soccer, especially even like further down, because I can relate to that. like, and it's objectively hilarious and entertaining. Whereas like, I can't put myself in an NRL player's mind because I don't understand what it's like to be that good. I don't. Whereas, man, I can understand how it feels to be that shit at something. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that funny? It's just more of a realization. I'm a person, they're a person. I'm at this level.
yeah.
I enjoy watching this more because I can
enjoy that.
relate. Yeah. It makes all the sense in the world. Like when you stop looking at them like gods,
Yeah.
like your dad when you were 5, you stop looking at them like a superhero. It's like, oh, they're just people. Can be admired because it's really hard to get where they're at.
Yeah. Oh, like, I think that's more, it's like an appreciation of like how athletic they actually are. And they've chosen to just run full pelt into other blokes for a living, cop a shoulder to the head. Like, it's insane, really, objectively looking outside in, how sport is so fucking stupid. Like, but yet, you know,
We love it.
50,000, 60,000 are turning up, like millions are watching. Just a bloke grab an egg. Like,
Play fighting. It's play fighting.
Yeah.
It's our version of the Colosseum.
it is.
Much less brutal, thankfully, but God, you see some of those hits and you think, oh, fuck. Not that
There's so
far
many
off.
of those where you're just like, you can pay me to take that hit. And yet these guys are getting paid a lot less than what I would take. Like,
Yeah, the trade-off of potential long-term brain damage for.
yeah.
But I don't know, man. That a lot of people would probably, even knowing everything, take that, which they still do, but would take that trade-off because, like, a great life till you're 50, like a great unique life. A lot of people would take that.
I feel like if you put it on the table of like, hey, you're going to have a 6-year professional sport career, you'll win 1 premiership in that, but you won't be remembered as a great. Would you take it?
That's probably the level where it's got to be like 50-50
yeah,
either way.
I
'cause
feel
that's
like most people would take that.
Yeah, that's especially if they are the ones who are falling into the comfortable pattern of
Yeah.
not actually pursuing what they want. That glory for a little bit. Yeah.
That 1 premiership. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm 56 and I'm still talking about that premiership. Don't
God,
you
you-
worry.
Think about your parents telling you about the banana kick they did
Yeah.
when they were playing
Yeah.
men's football at whatever level.
I can remember like 3 stories off the top of my head of dad's districts games. Like,
Yeah, my dad. It was a banana kick from the side, went straight in the goal. No one knew if I meant it or not,
Yeah.
but I never told anyone if I did.
It's like, well, it went in, didn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
pretty good shot. If I do say so myself. Yeah, that's funny.
Have you thought about that with, say, your kids? Like, they're getting very close to an age where, like, they see you as, like, oh, what did dad do? Like, what did dad do when he was young?
Yeah, the storytelling I think is something I would actively like to get better at, right?
Yeah.
And doing something like this, hopefully just talking long form on things will help with that. But actually storytelling and telling them good stories that are real. Like look, I'll try not to embellish, but like, you know,
Oh, it's
a little bit. It's pretty
It's
fun.
impossible
It's pretty fun
to not
me.
embellish, yeah.
Even my brain, the memories will embellish for me. I won't even know the exact truth. I'll remember the best version.
Think of any goal you ever scored.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 20 yards out. Oh, mate, pumped it from 25 yards out. Like, there was 3 men in the wall, 4 men, and they jumped. Like,
yeah, but telling a good story, maybe the absolute truth isn't necessary if all the details are right.
yeah.
Like the main details are right. It's probably the most.
You want to be taken for a ride as well if you're listening to a story. You want to hear the beats.
Is it more true to be captivated by the story than telling
Yeah.
the absolute truth within the story?
I mean, whose memory is 100% accurate anyway?
No one's.
Yeah.
No one's. Apparently, every time you remember a thing, it's changed slightly because your brain's now just remembering the memory of the thing. Yeah. It's so weird.
And it's so hard, especially if you're trying to remember what people say as well. Oh, yeah. Where you're just like, wait, is that what they said, or is that what I wanted them to have said? Or like, am I trying to make them seem nicer? Am I trying to make them seem worse? Like, it's hard to tell a story.
The lack of reliability.
Yeah, I don't trust myself to remember. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, dude. That's one of the weirdest things I learned is the lack of reliability in your memories. It's like, how many am I going to go back and think, wait a minute. Every time I remember something now, especially from far enough back, I'm like, I think, how much of that is real? How much isn't? These things I'm pretty sure is the truth, but I don't even know.
There's so many like story or say events in your life where maybe, you know, your sliding door moments, that kind of thing, where you're just like, how many other events does your brain just go, nah, don't worry about that one. Like, nah, you'll be right. And then someone brings it up and it kind of sparks, and then like I can feel myself sometimes trying to build a memory and like, oh yeah, no, oh no, and then this happened. No, did it? Like, it's just like, wait, now I'm just like, am I lying? Like, or am I telling? Like, I am trying to convince myself something happened.
Yeah, it's so strange to think on that, because your brain is very smart at like, oh, this is useless information, get rid of it. Yeah. Maybe it's not so smart, and sometimes it gets rid of the key points.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we should have held on to that one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That would have made a good story. Yeah, I don't. Do you reckon you're a good storyteller?
I feel like yes, if I'm allowed to kind of go with it, like
given the space to just
like accept that I'm going to swear, I'm going to add things, I'm going to take things away. Like, I feel like I'm good at like recapping a past event, but like actual memory and things like that where I have to like tell the exact truth of things, I feel like I'm the whole time going like, okay, this happened and this happened, where if I can build it as I talk.
You can build it, you can tell it, and but you have to be allowed to package it in a way that it's just very free. Whoa. Less constraints, maybe.
One that I've had to tell a lot was when I got hit by a motorbike. And, you know, I got hit by a motorbike. So how reliable is my memory of that day? like,
The cause, effect.
and I'm remembering things where it's people have told me that this has happened, but then I've imagined it from my point of view while I'm there. So then I've built a false memory. Like, I know I have a false memory of being awake after I initially got hit.
Interesting.
I know I have because I wasn't awake.
Wow.
And I just smashed my head on bitumen. Like, I was not there. But someone telling me that a lady had come up and had said about, you know, we've got it on camera, like all this stuff. I've built that memory. I know that I didn't see that. I know I didn't, but in my head I did. It's so weird.
Did you see the camera footage she's referring to? Like, did you ever actually see?
Yeah.
Did that help with anything? Or again, you were just constructing
Not really.
based
No.
on that? Yes, yeah.
If anything, it's just kind of not hilarious, like grimly hilarious to see me get hit by a bike. Like, I flipped over the top. Like, yeah, it was a bit of fun.
It's pretty intense. You reckon you changed after that point?
Yeah, a lot of like mental things. I think that's when I started really going downhill mentally, was after that. Because I have a very vivid memory of either in year 11 or year 12, just completely denying that depression exists. Like, I remember being a guy who was like, dude, it's not that bad. Like, just fucking smile, have a laugh, you idiot. Like, and then once you don't trust your own instincts in things, all of a sudden, like, you feel it all the time. So it was like immediately after the like impact, I guess, like coming home from hospital and like knowing that he was worse off than I was in it. And then I felt guilt for being hit by the motorbike, and I had like, you know, we got put in a next to each other in hospital, and he lost all the skin off his quads. He just had his first child. They were 3 weeks old or 4 weeks old. He wasn't really supposed to be at work, but they couldn't really afford for him not to be at work. Things like that, where it was like, holy fuck. Had I not just like, you know, looked or waited a bit and things like that, this guy would be in so much better of a spot. But then it's like, well, also he was doing 60Ks in a 30K, like, yeah. It was just one of those things where I was like, I just felt so much guilt and like attached it with like, it was my fault when it wasn't my fault. No. Like, it's so hard because like legally not my fault, like I guess objectively not my fault, but something I was involved with caused someone for their life to change forever. So like the weight of that stayed with me for so long.
So do you think that was part of the impact on your head, or that was more just you've been in the situation now you'd never experienced before? Like,
I don't know. I think it's a bit of both. Like I always joke I had brain damage from it because I felt like I got stupider after that. But that's also just being obnoxious and like. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard.
How do you discern that?
Yeah.
How would you even discern that? Yeah.
Because it could have just been like I was, you know, my family has history of mental health issues and things like that. And it was just waiting until I turned 18, 19.
Or some event
manifested, yeah. And it just happened to coincide with that. But I definitely, like, anxiety-wise, it
skyrocketed.
Ballooned. Yeah, it went huge. Because I just didn't trust anymore. like myself especially, because like, you know, when you're young, you're invincible kind of thing, and then something I did got me very hurt. So it was like, oh, you're an idiot. Like, you're actually not as smart as you think you are. You're not as clever. Like, you can't look after yourself. Things like that.
It's that's the case. So it seems like that's just a trauma response. Like a lot of PTSD is. I heard a package. It's probably Jordan Peterson packaging it this way, but a lot of the case for PTSD is an event happens to you that you had never conceptualized actually being possible to happen to you.
Yeah.
So that's why PTSD can occur all kinds of things because it's literally just your brain has never painted the picture of this thing being possible to happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that it happened to you, it changes the whole structure of the way you see the world.
Yeah.
And that's just so overwhelming. So that's more like a maybe not a brain chemistry what's going on, but like a metaphorical way of understanding how
Of what happened.
yeah, it's just you've now experienced something you never conceptualized properly prior to this point, and now you got to do some work to figure out how to actually comprehend the world that you now exist in. Yeah, that's
because it was like a change of like, I'm invincible, I'm not invincible. Like that could have been it. Like if I hadn't landed on my shoulder first, like it was my head.
yeah, wow.
So it was like I could have been fucked. Like could have been a paraplegic, could have been dead, but it was just the way I fell kind of saved me, and I ended up with a concussion, a broken foot, and like bit of grazing on my back. Like lost some nice tufts of hair as well. That was nice. Some bloody tufts of my scalp. That was pretty cool.
Do you think there's a reason why? Like, was it just luck? You believe in anything more than that? Why?
No. So I know. So how it happened was I was walking out from work, and where my car was parked was on the opposite side of the road of an S-bend in an industrial estate. And I was talking with my mate from work as we're blah, blah, blah. It was a Friday afternoon, and cars are parked on both sides of this S-bend. And, you know, I just kind of was like, all right, see ya. Look to my left, look to my right, whatever. I take one step out and I hear him, the motorbike driver, yell out, fuck. Like, fuck. And then I don't remember getting hit, but it was me sticking my left foot out and he hit my left foot, and that swung me up and over him. And he then lost control of the bike, obviously. And there was a bit of a grassy embankment into a steel fence kind of thing. So he went down the embankment off the bike. That's where he lost all the skin off his quads. I came to just before I got into the ambulance. My shoe had been blown off my foot. I couldn't like feel anything. Like I didn't know, like I just had no idea what the fuck had just happened. And then they were like, oh, like, you know, call your parents. And I just called dad or mum. And I was just like, hey, I think I just got hit. I'm going to the PA. Bye. Yeah, no information at all. Yeah. And then dad met me at the hospital, and it was just, yeah. From there, so lucky, because realistically, I only broke 3 metatarsals in my left foot. Like that was it. And my like just everywhere was just bruised from taking the impact. But like after a week or two, I was kind of fine. Like I just had a sore foot, Like, yeah, I don't know. It's so hard because it's like, did I need that to happen? Because I hated that job. I was in a meat packing factory and I hated it. But then when I got back, they put me on light duties, which was then in the office where I all of a sudden was this 18-year-old kid with like ratty blonde hair in amongst all of these business professionals, all this stuff. And my job was to sift through this 20,000 page spreadsheet of their past 5 years of blah, 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 and identify. And it couldn't be further from what I would ever want to do.
Oh my God.
And it was, I remember spent every single day, like, I think I did, a couple of pages of it and then just transfer deadline day for football, like just look at transfer rumors. Like, I wasn't allowed to talk, I wasn't allowed to like do anything, wasn't allowed my phone, and it was just do this. And it was like, oh, I fucking hate you and I hate this. Like, fucking get me out of here.
I couldn't think of anything more soul crushing than doing that.
I remember the day I quit, I pulled up at 4:30 in the morning and I just like sat in my car and I just called mum. I'm like, I'm not going in. Like, she's like, just quit. I was like, can I? Like, am I allowed to? Like, yeah, you don't have to work there. You can find another job. Like, in my brain, it was always show up for work, get there early, leave a bit later than everyone else. Like, just do the work. Just do it. I was like, no, I'm not allowed to do that. I have to have another job lined up. Like, and it has to be a better job. Like, just like, no, you don't. So walked in, just like, yeah, no. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna leave today. Today's my last day. I didn't know how to quit. I was like, yeah. She's like, what? Like, oh yeah, I'm quitting. Oh, it's really sad to see you go. Like, it was just like a see you later, idiot.
Yeah. Wow, so that got you out of that shitty job.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I know in my heart, I would have stayed there for years.
Wow.
I know I would have, because it's just in my brain engraved, like, just do it. People have it worse.
Yeah, it's great for gratitude, but it can keep you in a really shitty situation for a lot longer than you need to be.
Yeah.
Finding the balance of where that's actually necessary.
Well, now looking back, I'm surprised I kind of had the, I guess, thought pattern of like being in a freezer working, of just going like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like this, like, look at everyone who's older here. Do they look at all happy? Like, no. Like, oh no, but I'm earning more money than I've ever had. Like, this is sick. I can do whatever I want on the weekends now. And then as soon as Sunday came, you're just like, oh my God. Like, staring down the barrel of another week. And you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah. Ugh. Look, money's important, but it shouldn't be worshipped. It's not everything.
No.
Especially if you have to sell your soul for it.
Yeah. Well, it's like reading the book The Factory. One of the kind of main things that stuck with me from that book was like, no, I'm happy here. Like, I should be thankful I have a job, because there's people who don't have a job. But I'm not meant to be working. Like, I don't want to work, but I need to work. But I don't want to be here, but I should be grateful that I'm here. And I feel like that is the overarching theme of just like modern work in like our society, of just like, yeah, look, could be worse. Like, well, I guess, yeah, it's not that bad. Like, things like that. It's like, oh no, it's soul crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do get 2 days to myself, and that's pretty cool. Like,
That is a trade-off
yeah.
like almost everyone's making. I would love to see how many people are doing what they really would choose to be doing and how many are like,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are happy with, I'll do any job, I don't care, the time I spend outside of work is where I get my value.
Yeah.
But how many are not in that boat necessarily, but trying to convince themselves they are because they just hate what they do?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even subscribe to the fact of like pushing, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Like, no, because then the thing I love becomes my job. So where do I then escape from my job if it's what I love to do? Like,
Well, they've done again. Look, they've done studies on this. As soon as you start getting paid to do a thing, the enjoyment of doing the thing goes down, and it's
because
consistently.
I feel like you would have to do everything you never had to do. Like, you would just start having to do all the shit parts of the
That's
thing you
right.
love.
Introducing
And
all
then you,
these stresses.
yeah. Like, all of a sudden, if you start a business, oh, I really love like lawn care. Like, I love mowing lawns. Oh, now I've got to like run the books and to like get clients and all that. I don't love doing that. Now it's work. Now there's pressure. Now it's like, wait, I was really happy just being a guy on a mower. Like,
I think that's probably better though.
yeah.
I think it is still probably better than the alternative. It was a thing you loved at some point. There's probably still love in there, but now it's a bit of a chore.
Yeah.
I think you probably still get more satisfaction with that. But maybe it helps you realize that it's also not everything. And that you can probably like switch up what you're doing more often than you can or than you think you can. Because you can probably pursue more interests.
I think it's probably as well. It's like, as humans, we just hate change. Like, majority just hate change.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So even if it's something you can control, it's still change. It's still different. But it's like, I guess in anything, it's like once the change happens, it's a week where it kind of feels a bit different, and then it just like, okay, well, this is it now. Straight back into the routine.
Oh, dude, we're incredibly adaptable.
Yeah.
It does not take long to get used to a new environment. It's different, I guess, if it's you're doing something radical where now you can't pay bills and all this.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the level of change where it's like, oh, there's all these constant pressures keep going. But even then, you're probably like, okay, now I'm used to being behind on every payment. And even in a week or two, it's like, this isn't so bad. Oh, I'm not in jail yet. And then maybe when you go to jail.
All is well.
But we can adapt very well. But we don't realize that. Well, often I don't think we realize it enough to give us the courage to do the thing that's going to be, it's going to give us a few weeks, a week of it, because we don't recognize. Or it's hard to. I don't know. I don't know how you can. If you're like me, you can't be told it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just through
You
doing
need to
things.
feel
You have
that
to,
it's not that bad.
You've got to go through it. It's like any kind of confrontation or change, anything that in that moment sucks. It's hard to see how it's going to be easier, but it always is.
Why do you think, like, we seek comfort? Like, just, this will do. Like, it's like a comfort zone. But it's like, I feel like everyone wants more. Like, so why in our nature is it like, oh no, this is fine. Like, I can handle this. This is fine. Like, it may not be great, may not be even good, but I can handle this. So it's okay.
Part of it, I think, is because now in the modern era, comfort is extremely accessible and it's easy to attain because we can, earning like a decent enough wage, you can get everything you need very easily. you're able to survive fine, and you can even get a few things that you want on top of that, and it's not that hard. It's not that much of cost. So from like an evolutionary perspective, in order to get to that level of comfort where you knew where your next meal was coming from, maybe shelter was set in some circumstances, but you had an
Brisbane
abundance
housing
of
market.
But even then, like, you can rent, you can survive, and you're okay.
Yeah.
You're just not an abundance of resources, but you have absolutely everything you need.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is just, it's this concept in evolutionary psych, which is evolutionary mismatch.
Yeah.
It's like the demands we have or the things we need used to be extremely difficult to attain and sustain. You'd spend most of your day actually just acquiring enough.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of do it now in terms of you still work all day to acquire it, but there's not as much of the struggle involved.
Yeah.
So like, we have evolved to probably seek more in order to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But now we can be comfortable without having
to seek more.
You
Like, you
can
don't
just
have to go
exist.
hunt all day.
You can be
to get a
comfortable
feed.
just existing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to be comfortable. So this is where we might seek more, but the urgency of that is gone.
Yeah.
You have to manufacture that yourself and something, or you have to be in a shitty enough situation.
Unless you're in rock bottom.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Right in there.
That's why you need to be rock bottom.
You have to
a lot of
like
times.
gaslight yourself into thinking you're in a much worse position.
I've got everything I need, but
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'll go
think
with.
I'm happy,
miserable.
yeah.
I'm miserable. Let's go do more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of it is technology has outpaced the rate of our evolution 150,000 fold. Like, I think a lot of issues, a lot of anxiety related issues too. It's our fear circuits are honed in on 300,000 years ago, where any cue of danger is worthy of our attention.
Yeah.
So let's spike that shit up. But now everything could be a cue of danger, like a lad said, but you know the actual payoff isn't there. You're not getting the actual threat.
Yeah.
So we're just more prone or more uncomfortable in that situation because we're not used to actually needing it.
Yeah.
So much of it is just fear circuits going off when they shouldn't, or they don't need to anymore. But our body can't evolve.
Yeah. Like, we're not working like our job, and there's something that can kill us at any stage. It's like, it's so mundane, the entire experience of like, oh, well, all right. Whereas, like, man, tell you what, I feel like I would get my jobs done quicker if there was threat of like something coming in and fucking killing me.
Or even having the fact that you feel things, it's mainly just a cue to pay attention to what you're doing, or cue to pay attention to whatever that noise was. But like, there's no need a lot of the time now, so it's just going off, and we don't know how to manage it because it's not necessary. It's tough, but it's hard. It's hard for people to conceptualize, I think, because feeling anxious is the most normal feeling in the world. Like, you need it. You would not take the trade of never feeling it, because then you're just completely like docile and vulnerable to everything. It's so necessary to actually even function.
Well, I really like how, like, a phrase that kind of helped me deal with either anxiety or like really bad just nervousness is like, if you didn't feel that, it kind of means you don't care at all. So it's like, it's there for a reason. Like, it's a very human feeling to worry and to like care. But it's, once you let it eat you, that's where it's a problem. If you didn't have it, my God, you would do nothing. You would just do nothing in your life. It's just like, oh well, next.
Even at a base level, like, the chemical that makes you feel anxious is what wakes you up in the morning. It's like, you need the thing. You need the cortisol or whatever it is. I believe it's cortisol, but you need them. They're important for actually functioning. But yeah, it's tough to, you've got to reframe it in your head. Like, It's a cue to pay attention.
Yeah.
It means I care.
Yeah.
If it's going on too long, maybe I need to do something to, address the issue. But
It's like sometimes some people can be backed into a corner for a very long period of time with no action. And then there's some people who, as soon as they're like being forced towards the corner, it's like, no, action. It's time for action. Like, I'm not going in the corner. Like,
different levels of when to react to the threat. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, EJ, I think that's almost 2 hours.
wow, what a chat.
Yeah, pretty good chat. Anything else you want to bring up? Anything else that you think we didn't cover that, be worth getting through?
Hey, look, there's always time for more podcasts.
Recurring guest confirmed.
Yeah. So, episode 2.
We've got EJ back.
Yeah, no way.
Well, thanks very much, EJ.
Thanks for
much
having me.
appreciate you coming on.
It's a great chat.
Yeah. Till next time.
Thanks. See you. Bye.
Ciao.